Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. We're always locked and loaded on Wednesdays. We've got a full house tonight. Brady Cannon steps up and in. Paul Bovey, the Ridge Cam Stewart, George Kurtz, Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano. We'll say that the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs will take center stage. We've got some times as far as the weekend action is concerned in the National Hockey League, and we now know that the Philadelphia 76ers will be playing the New York Knicks. It's going to be an epic series. The Sixers survived tonight. They came back. They were down double digits. Nicholas Batum hit 1 3 after another this evening. And when it was all said and done, Philadelphia survives 105-104. The game goes over the number. The Heat covered the number. The total was as low as like 188.5 at one point. And I had over 207, and I wasn't feeling too good about it. So thanks to Tyler Hero, a player that I've been critical of and missed a million shots tonight. When he lined up, I'm like, oh, my God, it's Hero for 3 at the buzzer here. And this is the game goes over or it stays under, and he hit the 3. So the game goes over. And the Miami Heat will get another crack at this thing. The Hawks and the Bulls are playing right now. So they'll get the winner of this basketball game. The Chicago Bulls are up 13-10 on the Hawks right now. We're midway through the first quarter of play. I'm on the Chicago Bulls on the money line, and I'm on the over of this basketball game. Over 222, and it was like minus 150 for the Bulls on the money line. Should be a pretty high-scoring game. It's 2-1 to the under, and really like this Sixer game was nearly 0-3 as far as these play-in games are concerned to the under. But because of the late basket, the game there was the fourth quarter was really high scoring, so the game went over the number. You would figure the Hawks don't play defense, the Bulls don't really play defense, so you figure that this game, both teams, you figure like 115, 117, something like that wins this basketball game. So we'll track it in game throughout the evening. Obviously, the NHL, we talked about it before. And shout out to everyone joining us on Sirius XM Channel 159. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. So, the NHL, the playoff schedule is sort of slowly but surely coming out right now. And it's pretty nice of them considering teams are playing on Saturday. They have no regard for fans. Like, they just don't. At this point, they can't be helped. You know what I mean? Like the NHL is like a friend of yours that like they won't change. It is what it is. They have their ups and downs and stuff, but they're never going to figure it out. they're never going to figure it out. The Vancouver Canucks don't know. They won their division, yet they don't know when they're playing. Now, I totally understand. Well, you know what? We don't really know. The stadium's not done yet. We don't really know who they're going to be playing yet. Fine. Doesn't matter if you know who they're playing. It's not difficult to say, well, game 1 is Sunday at 7 o'clock, right? It's not that hard. Say, well, whoever it is, that's when they're playing. Well, we'll see. We'll let them know. We'll figure it out soon. It's like, for the love of God, man. Like, seriously. Like, middle-aged men that run softball leagues are more professional than the National Hockey League. Like, seriously. Like a beer league, hockey league will know, okay, this is the format. This is when we're playing. This is the time. It's like, like the NHL playoffs, the NHL playoffs is like a rave. It's like a secret society nightclub. You know what I mean? You have to know, and if you don't know where it is and what it is, then you know what? Too bad. You're not welcome here. Like, great outreach, guys. Great outreach. You don't even know when the damn games are. Like, really? Like, seriously? So the Vancouver Canucks, the Canucks were told that, you know what, we don't know, and how about you guys play on Tuesday night? And evidently the Vancouver Canucks told the NHL to suck it, and they said, that's stupid, we're not waiting until Tuesday. And the Nashville Predators, evidently, who it's going to be the Canucks and Predators, the Predators reportedly complained as well. So now there's word that they might start Sunday. Like, this is the NHL for you. Like, let's not forget that their whole plan was to start the playoffs on Monday, but the networks told them, what are you guys, morons? Like, you're starting on Saturday. So they adjusted everything. And really, but this is the funny thing. They don't care about Vancouver. That's the whole point. They don't care. They don't care about Canadian teams. So they're like, yeah, whatever. Screw them. They'll play whenever we tell them to play, and they'll play on Tuesday. How's that sound? So what, you're going to have everybody else start on Saturday, and the Canucks and the Preds going to start on Tuesday? That's your plan, Gary? Like, for the love of God, man, figure it out. You have a great product, but you'll never be able to – this league will never, ever, ever, ever grow with the incompetence that's around it. Like, Bettman's a good businessman, point blank. Like, he is. Like, the NHL, they make money. He's grown the revenues. There's expansion. I mean, hell, they're selling the Arizona Coyotes for $1.2 billion. So evidently they're making money. But I don't understand how, like, there's no real hockey people around. And the hockey people that are around allow the stupidity to go on. The schedule, the points, the playoff format. Like, I want to just talk about the games, but every damn hour, it's like, what are you kidding me? I mean, this is as stupid as finding out to get this. So Caitlin Clark, right? Not that she's popular or anything. Like, who would ever imagine that Caitlin Clark was going to sell a bunch of jerseys when she was drafted? So they were caught off guard. Oh, we didn't realize the sales, and so our inventory's gone. And you order a Caitlin Clark jersey now. You know when you're going to get it? It ships out August 14th. Their season ends in September. That's like ordering an NFL jersey in a month. So their season starts May 14th. So let's say, September the 12th. Let's use September 12th as a date in the NFL. That's like saying, man, NFL season's here. It's August 12th. It's a month away. I'm going to order my team's jersey, man. I'm going to order a jersey now a month before the season starts. And then they tell you, yeah, you'll get it in week 18. The season starts May 14th. You have the biggest phenom since like Muhammad Ali in American sports right now. She's like the Taylor Swift of sports. She's the most popular person in America now. And you don't have jerseys ready until August when the season's nearly over. Unnamed company. Unprepared. What a shock. Like, I could go on, but besides that, I can't think of anything stupider than the National Hockey League and how they're handling this playoff. So 17-12 right now for the Bulls, doubles. So the Coyotes are playing their last ever home game tonight against the Edmonton Oilers. I'm surprised the Oilers aren't resting everybody. But so the Coyotes going to step up. They want to win. They vocally said, we want to win this last game for the fans on the way out here. But just because they want to doesn't mean that they will. All right? They're plus a puck and a half at minus 170. I'd be more comfortable with that. As I stated, this isn't a Disney movie. The Edmonton Oilers, they can still beat them even if they don't care about the game. And just because it's the last game in Arizona doesn't mean automatically that they're going to win this game. In fact, the Expos lost their last game. It's a cold world, baby. We just live in it. This is Sports Rage. Bring it.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We talked about the Ohtani story. This interpreter, Ipe, clearly was a problem gambler. I mean, he would be identified as that and beyond. Now, there are a lot of others that are out there.
The timing didn't seem great. It seemed slightly tone deaf in terms of, maybe now isn't the time to say it. But the sentiment itself, you have to agree with. There's only so much a sports betting company can do, right?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid. boy, if you passed him up as a Heisman Trophy winner and he lights the league on fire like C.J. Stroud over a Bryce Young, you might not make it as a head coach or in your regime here. I just don't think they can pass over Daniels at number 2.
He's sitting at 5.8 goals, saved above average. He has been standing on top of his head for this team, but defense has to help him out a little bit. The Red Wings defense comes alive just a bit. I think that they're definitely going to punch their card.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina come back, take the lead, and then somehow Alabama punches back. A true classic. Like, the word classic gets tossed around loosely a lot, but that really was a true classic.
Great point earlier about Arizona. They had such an advantage under the basket, yet they're having guys just chuck threes. Their whole game plan sucked from the get-go. Like, the fact that they lost that game, I put a lot of it on coaching.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The Early Line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. I need a hero, a Tyler hero, to hit a 3 at the buzzer like he did tonight to make the game go over the number. And, you know, there's certain players, too. I don't know what it is, and I'm going to admit it. So I'm full disclosure, Tyler. You've always annoyed me personally. I've always thought you're extremely overrated. I was always amazed that somebody as Pat Riley paid you as much money as he did for a dude that just takes threes and sometimes hits them and sometimes doesn't. But the fact that you hit that 3 with the total on the line, I take it all back.
Last night, you should have heard the clip, Brady. Here's Morency. I think Hero's so overrated. This guy can't believe
I went
him.
off last night even. I snotty heat. I said, these guys are nothing. I was like, whatever. Like, I ended up betting on him, too, tonight.
Okay, I took the points, too. Anyway, that's the bet. You know what I've noticed about you recently, Gabe? Guys you're ripping are coming through for you. Keep it up.
Yeah, but at least I man up and say after. Yeah, I rip the guy all the time. So when I saw that it was him, I saw that he had the ball in the corner, and Brady had a big play on over 207, and they were at 206, and it was like the last shot coming to the game type deal.
Yeah, I saw it.
I was like, oh, no. I was like, I'm really going to hate this kid, like, after he misses this shot. Like, as he shot, I was just thinking, oh, God, no, hero. Swish, it went in. I was like, oh, so used to getting screwed at the end of these NBA games. I was surprised it actually went in. But the Sixers survive, and imagine this now, guys. You get the New York Knicks. What a great series that's going to be. The Philadelphia 76ers and the New York Knicks. East Coast battle, Brady.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think that puts a great twist on the Eastern Conference playoff picture when you have 2 big, blue bloods, if you will, in there in this next round. I like that a lot better than the Lakers and the Nuggets. That seems like a pretty extreme mismatch to me. That series price is about minus 350 on Denver, and that might be cheap. I wonder what the series price will be on the Knicks and the Sixers. I would think New York is going to be favored. They'll have home court. But I don't think they'll be that big of a favorite with Embiid now back in the picture.
Did you play the Bulls game right now? The Bulls and Hawks, Brady?
Like everybody else in the world, I took the over. And it is on an over pace so far, so we're looking pretty good.
Cam, what do you want here? The Bulls and the Hawks.
I'm on the Bulls, but I got bigger fish to fry, Morency. I got a $500 bet. I need 1 point from the Arizona Coyotes going into the game. 75 and after at 75. They just scored on Edmonton. Yes,
yeah, they just scored.
Yes. I'm all Coyotes. I'm all in. Edmonton, don't screw me tonight like you did against the Sharks, you jerks. You already made the playoffs. McDavid, you got your points. Leave me alone. Let them live in peace and go to Utah.
Last ever home game for the Arizona Coyotes tonight, right? So that's the angle. Yep. Last ever home. And the players were vocal about it. I was watching a pregame show a bit, and the Coyote players basically said, like, yeah, we want to win, like, on the way out here for these people in the building tonight. It's never. What happened? It doesn't matter.
What happened in Arizona anyway? I mean, it seemed like that was a real flash in the pan. I mean, how many years were they there? It seems like 6.
Too many.
No, a long time.
Gone. Way longer.
They've been there like 20 years, man.
Yeah.
Like, really? It's been a long time.
Years? Yeah,
no, I don't know exactly.
Wow.
Like, when did they go? Let's see. Arizona Coyotes.
I'm with you, Gabe. I'll take
overnight.
18 and a half. No, they've been there forever, Brady. Trust me.
Like, they went on a playoff run.
Stadiums or something.
They went on a playoff run like in 2012-13, like 2010-ish even they were there. Like, it's been a while.
God, I didn't realize they've been there that long. Wow.
Let's see.
But they were gone in a wink of an eye. I mean, it was like, okay, they're going to play in Salt Lake next year, and then bam, they're gone. Done.
27 years. Oh, no my way. God, help us.
I was only off by about 21 years. So
okay,
they really have been. Yeah, 1996. That's what I'm saying. It's not like they're some flash in the pan franchise. They've been in the league a long time. Like, they've been around.
Did they come around when the Sharks got into the league?
No. No, not that long.
Sharks got into the league about 30 years ago, right?
Yes. Yes, they did. Because I remember they played at the old the Cowtown Palace game.
They went deep against Detroit. Yeah, I used to cover them there when I was working in the Bay Area.
The San Jose Sharks have been in the league for at least 30 years, off the top of my head. They're 33. We're hitting again. Where's the game show?
It's 1990. But the Coyotes, Brady, it's very strange because you know Arizona. It's a pretty good sports state, right? They're enthusiastic. They've sold tickets in the past for Coyote games, so it wasn't like, oh, nobody goes. But they played in multiple arenas over the years.
Right,
like, they've never really built, like, they're not in Phoenix, right? They've never really resonated with the community because they always move, and their owners have always been bad. Like, they want to build a new arena now, but Buddy wanted a bunch of land. And it's like the mayor of Scottsdale said. He goes, you want a bunch of land for a casino and a shopping complex disguised as a hockey arena.
Yeah.
Right? Like, basically. Like, Buddy was like, oh, I'll build a hockey arena, but I got to be allowed to build condos and a mall and a casino. And, like, I need to, like, that's the new thing, right? That's what they're doing in KC now. Well, you know what? We can't stay alive unless you give us,
Yeah, part of the plan in Las Vegas with the Oakland A's coming to town. Obviously they're going to be next to multiple casinos, but I think they want to turn that whole, old Tropicana property into a mall and a restaurants and this and that and the other. Yeah, it's a package deal now. It's not just going to the game; it's the entire experience. You get there early, you go shopping, you hang out, you eat, then you go to the game, then you go to the nightclub afterwards. That's upstairs in the stadium.
Exactly. Like LA Live has. This sort of that LA Live thing outside of the Crypt and Staples. But all the mayors and everybody said, build an arena, but do it yourself. Like, we're not giving you land. We're not doing this. So it went on and on forever. Salt Lake will be good for them. But I've seen it before. We're going to see it now with the Oakland A's. I saw it with the Expos. The Expos are around a long time as well. It's never cool seeing. Like, I saw a little girl holding her little Coyote sign up tonight and stuff. Like, whatever team you think is terrible or is irrelevant and stuff, there are kids and people that love that team.
I love that.
That's part of their life. In the same way that you love your team, right? I mean, there's kids in Arizona, they've been going to Coyotes games their whole lives. Suddenly you got to tell your daughter, no, this is the last time we're coming. We're not coming anymore.
They're not going to be here anymore. Gabe. He was born in Arizona. Like, there's a lot of kids that got into the hockey. Like, good players there now in the state of Arizona, too. Their programs have been better. Arizona State has become a good hockey program. I'm with you. You bring up good points there, but, yeah, this experiment from the beginning, it's always seemed screwed up.
Yeah, but like I said, it wasn't the city. It was just sort of the arenas that they played in and the politics of it, and it's been a mess. They haven't had good ownership groups. They got kicked out of their last arena, Brady.
Like, I remember that.
That's why they're in the Mullet Center.
What's confusing me on how long they've been there, because they've jumped around a lot just within the same town.
Exactly.
I think I have
Like,
a
they didn't
feeling
pay
they'll
their bills.
flourish in Salt Lake, though. You guys,
Yeah,
I think they could be a home run in Salt Lake.
You're damn right. And I brought this up the other night. You know what the big difference is? The owner of the Utah Jazz is the guy. So Ryan Smith. He's a young guy.
Right.
I saw him on McAfee show. He's a young guy. He's like, 40 or something. Tech guy. Went to BYU. But is trying to build Salt Lake City into like a city that people like don't laugh at, right? He's like, it's not like this big, you know what I mean? There's parties here. And he said there's nightclubs. But it's a big tech hub. They're getting the Olympics back. But if you're the Utah Jazz, it's impossible to win in the NBA, point blank. No free agent is ever going to sign with you unless he's white and or whatever, another dude that's just not going to get signed anywhere else, right? Like, brothers in the NBA are not lining up, bro, to move to Salt Lake City, point blank. So they'll never be able to, like, make an impact unless, it gets lightning in a bottle and stuff and draft a bunch of players. But this guy's got a bunch of money. And the thing is, Brady, NHL players, you can sign the best player in the league for $12 million in the NHL. Like, that's sort of like the top contract. And he won't have problems signing hockey players. Hockey players don't care. They'll sign anywhere. Plus, it's Salt Lake. It's going to be skiing, beautiful, nice town. And
right. It's a winter-type town.
He's going to have a chance to win. So that owner's going to be all excited. He's going to be, man, I can't get LeBron to come here, but I can get some big hockey guy to come here.
Damn right.
And he's going to be aggressive about it. Look for the Coyotes to be aggressive and spend money. The guy's rich. He ain't joining the league to lose, this guy.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We talked about the Ohtani story. This interpreter, Ipe, clearly was a problem gambler. I mean, he would be identified as that and beyond. Now, there are a lot of others that are out there.
The timing didn't seem great. It seemed slightly tone deaf in terms of, maybe now isn't the time to say it. But the sentiment itself, you have to agree with. There's only so much a sports betting company can do, right?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Boy, if you passed him up as a Heisman Trophy winner and he lights the league on fire like C.J. Stroud over a Bryce Young, you might not make it as a head coach or in your regime here. I just don't think they can pass over Daniels at number 2.
He's sitting at 5.8 goals, saved above average. He has been standing on top of his head for this team, but defense has to help him out a little bit. The Red Wings defense comes alive just a bit. I think that they're definitely going to punch their card.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina come back, take the lead, and then somehow Alabama punches back. A true classic. Like, the word classic gets tossed around loosely a lot, but that really was a true classic.
Great point earlier about Arizona. They had such an advantage under the basket, yet they're having guys just chuck threes. Their whole game plan sucked from the get-go. Like, the fact that they lost that game, I put a lot of it on coaching.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The Early Line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game Time Decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
$40-28 for the Chicago Bulls right now. Bulls are rolling. They're minus 530 on the money line. They're laying 10.5 right now, the number in the game, and the total is 230.5 right now. Zion's going to be out for a couple of weeks. The Pelicans have a game against the Kings on Friday night, so no Zion Williamson in that game. And the Kings are now 1.5-point favorites. Injuries are affecting teams in the association right now. Of course, Giannis is going to be out for the first, we don't know how long he's going to be out for, but at least the first game on Sunday night. The NHL schedule's out, but let's get into some golf. We have Brady Cannon House. Just quickly, guys, you guys will like this as golf fans. So Tiger Woods, of course, played this past week, and Scottie Scheffler wins. But how about this? So this was Jamie Kennedy tweeted this out. How much would Tiger's 2000 season have earned him in 2024 cash money? Like if they paid the same amount of money that you make now to win a tournament in the year 2000, when Tiger went on that tear, pretty crazy. He would have made $92 million.
9 times the amount. Wow. Unreal.
That is amazing. And Scotty's already got 12. And what are we, a
so
third
what,
of the way
like, what
through
would
the season?
Jack have made then? And Jack, think about Jack. So Jack probably made, I don't know, if you add up all of his wins and stuff, I off the top of my head, you know what I mean, what, 20 million or something? You know what I mean?
You know what's insane?
Like, how much did he
Cam,
make,
like
Brady, when he made money? Like, how much did the Masters pay to win in the 70s? 300K? 200K type thing? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe 100. I mean, it was just 3.6. Cam, and you talk about all of Jack's wins and what he would have done. A lot of people don't realize, Cam, you probably know this. Nicholas also, he has the record for the most major wins at 18. He also has the record for the most runner-ups in majors. He's got 17.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's insane. This guy not only won 18 majors, but finished second another 20 times or whatever it is. And how much money would he have made off of that?
Think about Tiger. If Tiger Woods wasn't born, Ernie Els and Phil Mickelson would have probably second
DJ,
all the time.
Duval,
It was ridiculous because Phil always came second, and Ernie Els was second so many times to Tiger Woods in majors. Like if Woods wasn't around, these guys would be even more flush. They're doing pretty good though. Gabe knows Ernie Els owns Jets and stuff, so I'm not crying for him.
No one's crying for Tiger Woods either, but just to put in context, the amount of money, and it's funny because they still complain.
It's actually because of him too. The reason these guys make so much money is because of Tiger.
Yeah, and then they all left anyways. And they
to get more money.
The whole thing. That's why, and it's showing, it's catching up to them. The Masters ratings, golf ratings just keep going down, right? Again and again and again. They had Tiger too around. People are getting turned off from this stuff. But Scottie Scheffler gets it done, Brady. Well, what could you say about this guy? And in hindsight, plus 450 wasn't bad. You know what I mean?
I know. I actually bet him. I mean, we were sitting there poo-pooing the number, saying it's too short. I actually bet him on Saturday night at minus 115 in-game, and got a lot of my money back. I didn't have a great tournament with all my pre-tournament bets. Hit a couple top 20s, hit a top 10 with Xander, but made up for it all with the man.
The Justin Thomas new caddy thing did not work out.
No.
Quickly, Justin, I'm going to tell you something, Gabe. I'm going to tell you something. Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy need to see a mental coach. Justin Thomas has lost his game, and I don't.
And throw in Victor Hovland in there too. My goodness.
Yeah. Hovland's done nothing this year, but he's young. I look at Justin Thomas a little bit differently.
For you.
Yeah, Gabe, know what it is? His dad's involved in his life, and he has so many other people talking and talking and talking. He needs just to say, everybody, leave me alone. And I'm going to figure this thing out myself. He has too many people chirping in his ear. It's not good for business. Do you notice how Scheffler has nobody? And we talked about this. Church, family, God. Golf is one of those things. Yeah, I'm a great golfer. I'm the best in the world. Who cares? The other guys, it's different for them, and it's screwing them up mentally.
Who do you like this week?
Thomas. I'll give it to you here in just a sec. Thomas is all the way up to like 60-1 again. I mean, he was 60-65 last week at the Masters. He's like 60-something again this week to win. Those are unheard of numbers on Justin Thomas. But this week, Gabe, for me, a polar opposite of Augusta, big, massive property, with uneven lies and, huge greens and undulations. Now you got this little crowded, suffocating property where the trees hang over the fairways and you got to be super accurate. The greens are tiny, minuscule in size. It's just like a total contrast of what we were facing last week at Augusta National. I didn't play any of the guys that were really in the thick of it over the weekend. The guys that were in the throes of that battle, coming down the stretch. I think that mentally and physically takes a toll. I played Siwoo Kim at 38-1, very accurate driver of the golf ball. He's won 3 times on different correlated courses here, TPC Sawgrass, YLA, and Sedgefield. And he finished 30th last week. So that's a pretty stress-free Masters for him. He played well enough to make the cut, but he comes in here this week not too stressed, fatigued, what have you. So I like Siwoo this week. He's finished runner-up here in the past. And then I went to Shane Lowry at 40-1. Guy couldn't putt worth a lick last week, but his iron play was outstanding. Number 1 in the field for strokes gained approach. He's number 1 on tour in driving accuracy. Got him at 40-1. And then I went to another of the same type of players as Siwoo Kim. Accurate wedge players, short game. Russell Henley at 41-1. This guy's won at the Sony. He's had a number of top 10 finishes at Sea Island. He's a top 10 machine at Sedgefield. He checks all the boxes. And then after that, I went a little bit deeper to Tom Kim at 60-1. Now, this guy missed his cut on debut here at Harbor Town last year, but I really like the way he finished up the Masters with the low round of the day, a 66. That's now a 16th place and a 30th place finish for him at the Masters in just 2 tries. And he absolutely fits the profile of who should do well at Harbor Town. So I think he comes in with a good frame of mind, knowing that he's had success at Augusta, gets a course that should fit his game. I think the mentality side of things should be good for Tom Kim. We'll see if the physical and the play holds up this year. And then down to Chris Kirk at 75-1. Again, a ton of success at YLA. He's won at Colonial. He's won at Sea Island. Just that type of player. And also shot a really good round on Saturday at the Masters, shot a 68 when the field was averaging, about 74.5 on that day. And I think that round can possibly catapult him onto good things where, of course, much more should fit his game this week. And then finally, a triple-digit bomb on Brendan Todd. I got him at 100. He's down to about 80 now, and I wouldn't want to go lower than 80 on Brendan Todd. But again, all the same attributes. Now, he didn't play in the Masters. He's the only guy I played that didn't play the Masters, but prior to it, he finished 6th at Bay Hill, another signature event, and 5th at the Valero Texas Open just the week prior to Augusta. So he's in good form and makes all the sense as far as the course fit. All that being said, how much sense this all makes, Scotty Scheffler's in the field, and he's bound to beat us all at any minute, apparently.
No, but I got an angle. His wife was going to pop. This week, it's actually has there been an announcement with the baby? He hits 1 shot, he's done. Every matchup bet you'll have. If his wife has a child, it's huge, man. It's huge. So think about this, Gabe. They expected the baby
could happen
at Augusta.
This week.
Yeah,
right. You got 4 days for it to happen, potentially. Yeah.
Damn right. Come on, God. Make Mrs. Scheffler produce a child.
If Scotty Scheffler wins this tournament this week, he's just a jerk.
Done.
Like, that's what I was telling him in the clubhouse. I'd be like, bro, just go take a week off with you just won the Masters. Please, leave us alone. One of those things. I'd be like, thanks, Scotty. Thanks for showing up again, buddy.
And you go on vacation, Scheffler. Get out of my life.
Week after the Masters, like you said, it's time for other guys to scoop in here. My guy, Denny McCarthy, 55-1.
Yeah. Denny McCarthy
throwing that right there.
He fits the bill. He was very close.
Like
when I won on Ash K. Batea, but McCarthy made one of the best charges this year on the PGA
he was right there.
He lost in a playoff game. He gained 6 shots. So who does that? The Tiger Woods and Scheffler. Those are the type of guys to do it.
Seems to me like the type of tournament he'll play well. It's a gut feel. And another thing is, too, I'm sort of a trend guy. 2 top 25s the last 3 trips here. He likes the course.
I'll tell you another thing about Brady's
top 20 play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
what do you like, Cam?
I have Russell Henley in matchups for a top 20. I also have Brendan Todd in a matchup bet. And I'll tell you, Gabe, I find this very interesting. I'll give you my picks quickly, but we'll do them in the third hour.
No, hold on. We'll get it after because I want to get Brady's matchups in here. He's got three matchups. So Brady, you're picking on Wyndham Clark a little bit here. You got Cameron Young over Wyndham Clark and Russell Henley over Wyndham Clark. And your other one is Siwoo Kim over Sahith Theegala.
Yeah, all those guys, except for Cam Young, I'm on for an outright as well. So I think Henley will play well. I think Siwoo will play well. Again, I don't know if this is the perfect course fit for Theegala. Seems like he's cooled off a little bit since he made a nice run in Phoenix there. He had a pedestrian Masters. Wyndham Clark had an awful Masters. Missed the cut by a shot, missed a putt on the 18th hole, and flapped his mouth about, these live guys only play 54 holes, and I'm not worried about them. And that came back to bite him. I think maybe that's still lingering. He goes to a course, again, that I don't think really fits his game perfectly. He's played here 6 times. He's never finished better than 29th. And I think Cam Young is a threat to possibly win this week. He's performed well. And one thing about Cam Young, not only has he performed well recently, had a nice run at the Valspar, probably should have won that one. The putting has always been his bugaboo, but the last 2 weeks in a row, he's gained strokes putting. So I like Cam Young over Wyndham Clark this week as well, in addition to Henley. And then, like I say, Siwoo over Theegala.
Brady Cannon, Las Vegas golfer, online. Catch him right here on the grid. And Brady, next week is the NFL draft. And here's a play for you I put in. Top 3 exact order. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, plus 600.
Okay.
Numbers plummeting, too.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We talked about the Ohtani story. This interpreter, Ipe, clearly was a problem gambler. I mean, he would be identified as that and beyond. Now, there are a lot of others that are out there.
The timing didn't seem great. It seemed slightly tone deaf in terms of, maybe now isn't the time to say it. But the sentiment itself, you have to agree with. There's only so much a sports betting company can do, right?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Boy, if you passed him up as a Heisman Trophy winner and he lights the league on fire like C.J. Stroud over a Bryce Young, you might not make it as a head coach or in your regime here. I just don't think they can pass over Daniels at number 2.
He's sitting at 5.8 goals saved above average. He has been standing on top of his head for this team, but defense has to help him out a little bit. The Red Wings defense comes alive just a bit. I think that they're definitely going to punch their card.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina come back, take the lead, and then somehow Alabama punches back. A true classic. Like the word classic gets tossed around loosely a lot, but that really was a true classic.
Great point earlier about Arizona. They had such an advantage under the basket, yet they're having guys just chuck threes. Their whole game plan sucked from the get-go. Like, the fact that they lost that game, I put a lot of it on coaching.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The Early Line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort
night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I'm Morency. The pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. So I clicked an in-game over, and the Hawks, I'm already on the over 222, but I took over 238.5. Let's bring in Paul Bovey right now and see what he has to say about this, as it is a pure track meet. It's 60-51 right now with 4:43 left in the first half. So the tempo and the pace is extremely quick. I'm on the Bulls, Paul, on the money line, and I got the over in this basketball game, but I pulled the trigger on over 238.5, currently 244.5 right now. How you doing, Paul?
Great. Right now, a lot better than after that first quarter. And I stated to a very sharp gambler that the Bulls are just not this good. Clearly, the difference was the Bulls were 4-9 from beyond the arc, and the Hawks came out very cold, 1-9 from beyond the arc. I had the team total over 109.5, grabbed a little bit more at 107.5 after that first quarter, and also took plus 12.5. So I'm sitting with plus 12.5, plus 6, and the Hawks team total over. I like where I'm positioned right now because I have a little more on the team total.
Yeah, they're getting 10.5 now, and you got to expect that this game will tighten up a little bit as it goes on. Chicago are shooting lights out. Everything's falling into place for them, but the Hawks aren't going away. So as we stated, the in-game total, 244.5 right now. Trae Young should be noted. The Hawks are veterans of this stuff. They're always in the play-in. Trae Young has never lost a play-in game before. He's 3-0 in the play-in. And we should note, though, as well, that 10 seeds have never won a play-in game before, Paul. How about that? 0-7 now. The 10 seeds.
Well,
there's a reason.
Yeah,
you're the worst team. You're the worst team.
You're the worst team, but it's a limited sample size, and also these two teams were very close during the regular season.
Well, put it this way. Say limited sample. Since they've started the play-in tournament, no 10 seed has won a game yet. It's the size.
Yeah.
We're going on 0-7 now. That's a sample, I would say. You're a horse guy. If a horse finishes in the last place 7 times in a row, like that's a sample, isn't it?
Yeah. Then we drop them down in class. We drop them down in class. That's what we do.
Okay, you checkmated me there. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Well, I was going to say, what do you want, 70? Like, I've only had this thing for a couple of years. But all kidding aside, 66-53 right now. So the Philadelphia 76er game only went over. What a crazy. I don't know if you bet the total of that game, Paul, tonight. Or if you had the over-under.
I did.
Under-bettors had to be sick how it just fell apart. And then Tyler Hero hits that shot in which the world was waiting with bated breath to see if it was going to go in or not, because that was the over-under right there, Paul, with that 3-point shot.
Look, I played it at 197 over very early, and I was underwater and drowning and in the process of expiring. But lo and behold, it is the NBA. Teams got hot. Philly at one point, 3 for 20 from beyond the arc. So they were due to improve, and they did. Credit Joel Embiid for his performance down the stretch. But I don't want to hear J.J. Redick and these announcers constantly making excuses for a guy that he's not in game shape. He came back into the lineup on April 3rd. If you can't get back into game shape in 6 games as an NBA player, 30 years old, having played in college, you got a problem, okay? Joel Embiid was fine, and he showed it down the stretch, hit a couple really key three-pointers, leading the 76ers to victory en route to a elimination by my New York Knicks.
And listen, Nicholas Batum was massive tonight, right? Batum's threes were a massive difference for the Sixers. one thing with Embiid, he plays it up so much, right? You know, he's always hamming it up and acting about how hard it is and he's struggling through, but he's going to fight through. He's an actor. That's his shtick right now. It's the same thing in the playoffs all the time. And he's on the U.S. Olympic team. I'll tell you right now, there's no way in hell he's going to last that long. He's going to get hurt. He could get hurt against the Knicks. So we have a series price. For the record, the Oilers and the Coyotes are now tied at 1 in the Coyotes' last ever game. But we have a series price that's been posted, ladies and gentlemen, for the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. It's going to be an epic, fun series. East Coast, old school basketball. It's a pick'em, Paul, minus 110.
That's right. And you saw what I did. I didn't waste any time. Actually, Philly opened up, or the Knicks opened up minus 115. So Philly got the first click. And as soon as I saw that, I go, that's too much disrespect. I stepped in on the Knicks for a limit bet. The limit is reasonable, as you could see. I just think the Knicks have home court advantage. There was one game that these teams played when Embiid was in the lineup, and it wasn't close. It was the 30-plus point victory by the New York Knicks, and it was no fluke. Now, the other 3 games, the Knicks won comfortably in one. I believe the 76ers prevailed 79-76, and the Knicks did win the other one. But Embiid was not in the lineup, so let's discount those for the purpose of handicapping. But that one game that Embiid did play, Anunoby played, Knicks cruised by 30-plus points. And I just think this is the Knicks' year. Maybe it's me and my fanhood just resonating again, as it usually does, but I just think the Knicks are as good or better a team, and they have home field advantage, so home court advantage. So if it does come down to a 7th game, we all know how those usually play out. Home team gets it.
No, I'm buying in that the Knicks are a dangerous team in the playoffs. I just don't. It's a tough matchup against Philadelphia. It's going to be a battle. I would like the Knicks against some of the other teams more, but I still think the Knicks could win this series. For the record, guys, so it's Saturday, 6 o'clock Eastern, game 1. The Knicks, Paul, 2.5-point favorites, total 207.5. What do you think of that total?
Hey,
is it going to be a slugfest or will it be a flow to the game?
I would lean under, and I want to make a point about that Embiid game. Hartenstein actually outplayed Embiid in that game. Now, it wouldn't show up in the point production, but Isaiah was 8 and 9 from the field, put up big numbers relative to what he's accustomed to. And I think that Robinson being back in the lineup, he was not in the lineup for that game. I think they're going to give Joel Embiid all they can handle. I would lean to the under in the first game. And look, 2.5, got to go comfortably, or should I say conservatively, with a money line play on the Knicks. It's 140 on the money line. I think. Okay, so I think they'll get it at home or buy it down to 1. I don't want to fall victim to a close shave and lose a bet. So that's where I would go with it.
Hawks have played themselves back into this thing. They've just cut the lead to 3 right now, just like that, 70-67. But the track meet continues, and the in-game number is now 252.5. Remember, last time we checked, it was 244.5, into the 250s. Wow, and the Bulls just respond with a 3-ball. Caruso's playing well tonight. So Zion is out, Paul, Friday night. Sacramento Kings are in the Bayou. Sacktown are minus 1.5-point road favorites, 125 on the money line, total 213.5. How much does not having Zion affect the Pelicans? They're used to playing without him, right? They've played without him a lot over the years, but at the same point in time, he's been so dominant when he's been on the court. We saw him drop the 40, and you could argue if he doesn't get hurt late in that game, potentially they win that game. But if ends and buts were candies and nuts, he's not playing in this game. What do you think about this one on Friday?
Well, the Pelicans absolutely dominated him during the regular season. I what was it, 4-0 or something to that effect? I forgot. But, yeah, Zion will be a loss. But, it's hard to justify the Kings being a 1.5 favorite just because he is out of the lineup, given the performance this year of the two teams as they played against each other. So I'm going to take a step back on the game. I think it should be entertaining to watch. And just like today, there may be an opportunity in live wagering, as there was on the Hawks today, taking 12.5, taking 6. And there was in the earlier matchup, although it didn't look good early, getting over the 197. So live wagering is excellent in these playoff games because you get a lot of ebbs and flows and back and forths. And last night I grabbed the Lakers at +3, and that turned out good to be a solid play. So I'll probably sit back on this one and look for a spot.
Paul Bovey kick it with us. So we have some interesting matchups in the first round in the association. Starting off with Orlando and Cleveland. The Cavs are -200 series favorites over Orlando. Cleveland got lit up last year in the playoffs by your Knicks. They were just overwhelmed. Donovan Mitchell has the reputation of losing in the playoffs, even though I think he's played well in the past in the postseason. Bickerstaff's definitely on the hot seat. I think, like, if he doesn't win the series, he's getting fired. We'll put it that way. And, he could get fired. They want to fire him. I think it's one of these deals where some people will be upset if they win because I think they want to throw him under the bus. But what do you make of the series, Paul? Who do you like here, Cleveland or Orlando to win the series?
All right, first of all, the line is definitely inflated. I believe it was 2-2 in the season series. Now, the first game, the Cavs win, I think it was 121-111. But Orlando was 2 of 23 from beyond the arc. So all you need to do is look at that, and you understand why they lost. But when you consider that, losing by 10 is a pretty good accomplishment. So I just think these teams are fairly closely matched. And to lay 200 with the Cavaliers in the series is nuts because I think it should go to 6 or 7 games. Orlando at times is very competitive. They had a big win over Cleveland this year. Mitchell played in, I think, all the games. So I'm going to take a step back on this one, but just say that the value is with the Magic, but Cleveland will probably prevail.
You know what I think, guys, with this one? I think home court will mean a lot. I can see Cleveland. I can see, like you said, I think it's going to go 7. I think Orlando will win at home. I can see Cleveland winning at home. I think they're going to be really close games. Orlando kind of attractive, getting 4.5 in game 1. So we got the Suns and the T-Wolves are going head-to-head. Their game 1 number, the T-Wolves are hosting them. They're 1.5, -120 on the money line. The total is 214. And as far as the series price is concerned, T-Wolves not getting any respect, I hear. They're +110 underdogs right now, which kind of surprises me, Paul, to be honest with you.
All right, well, the Suns beat them 3-0 this year comfortably, and the last one was pretty much a rout in a game that both teams needed. But all you need
wasn't that the end of a T-Wolves road trip, though, off the top of my head? I think they were on the road all week. I remember I was betting them that week.
I believe you're right, but I believe it was for seeding, and I would also make a point that during the regular season, the Suns were 42 of 86 from beyond the arc, and Minnesota was 24 of 82. So obviously, if that narrows, the T-Wolves would have a decent shot. If it doesn't, and the Suns continue to dominate from beyond the arc,
that's a good point, Paul.
A layover.
Yeah. Dude, the T-Wolves are so big in the paint. The way to beat them is you got to be able to hit threes because you're not going to beat them inside. You're not going to get the rebounds either.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
talked about the Ohtani story. This interpreter, Ipe, clearly was a problem gambler. I mean, he would be identified as that and beyond. Now, there are a lot of others that are out there.
The timing didn't seem great. It seemed slightly tone deaf in terms of, maybe now isn't the time to say it, but the sentiment itself, you have to agree with. There's only so much a sports betting company can do, right?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Boy, if you passed him up as a Heisman Trophy winner and he lights the league on fire like C.J. Stroud over a Bryce Young, you might not make it as a head coach or in your regime here. I just don't think they can pass over Daniels at number 2.
He's sitting at 5.8 goals, saved above average. He has been standing on top of his head for this team, but defense has to help him out a little bit. The Red Wings defense comes alive just a bit. I think that they're definitely going to punch their card.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina come back, take the lead, and then somehow Alabama punches back. A true classic. Like, the word classic gets tossed around loosely a lot, but that really was a true classic.
Great point earlier about Arizona. They had such an advantage under the basket, yet they're having guys just chuck threes. Their whole game plan sucked from the get-go. Like, the fact that they lost that game, I put a lot of it on coaching.
SportsRage Late Night, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Paul Bovey in the house with us. Cam Stewart. We're talking NBA playoffs. George Kurt's going to join us later. We'll get to the NHL playoff series price and everything. So just looking, Orlando plus 1.5 is minus 135. What I like, guys, I like the parlays. Like, give me Orlando plus 2.5. And like basically I got a parlay. It's minus 148. I gave it on the show the other night, Paul. It's the Pacers plus 2.5 games, the T-Wolves plus 2.5 games, and the, what was my third one? I'm looking right now. Oh, the Mavericks plus 2.5.
I like that.
All I got to do is win 2 games in each series. It's minus 148.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and I'm going to bet them anyways on top. It's like a teaser almost, like a little insurance, Paul. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm taking the T-Wolves to win the series, but I got them in a parlay at plus 2.5 as well. Right, like just sort of cover it, just in case things fall apart, Cam. You know.
I mean, Paul, he's like, don't see. I know. I'm reading Paul's mind. That's such a degenerate weasel thing to do.
No, he's nodding. No, he can't help himself. He would say, "Oh, that's dumb," right away. He has no filter. He's nodding, thinking that's not crazy.
It's great.
It's not crazy. Cam, I'm going to be honest. The plus 2.5 is very intriguing because unless you think the team, first of all, the Pacers have everything going for them, and they have scored at least 122 points in every game against Milwaukee this year. I mean, I think they lost 1 game or 2, but at least 122 points. So you're going to grab 2 games at least against Milwaukee, which is just a sinking ship. I mean, they have absolutely fallen off a cliff. So that just looks like a strong play.
I picked the Pacers to beat the Bucks before the announcement of Giannis being out. Like you said, they're on the ropes already as it is right now. And the Pacers are a sleeping giant. I think the Pacers and Knicks would be a really fun series. Go back to the old school Reggie Miller, Spike Lee days and stuff like that. Get some Pacers and Big contrast in
Rick,
styles, too.
Rick Smith. Love Rick
Rick
Smith.
The Pacers can score, man. Like, these kids bring it. Like, they're an exciting team.